Good morning, everybody. The folks that I don't know, I probably sent an email back to you after you emailed in and said, hey, I want to join the meeting. And I just tell you, I'm Greg Webb. I'm the Director of Construction at Habitat. And we've got a lot of our team members on here. We've got our construction staff. We've got Alan Massing, Andrew Hess, Larry Springfield. And then we've got folks on here that you wouldn't necessarily typically be dealing with. You would typically be dealing with our project managers and construction staff. We also have on here Stephanie Alexander with Memphis Area Minority Contractors Association and Terrance Hammons with Section 3, City of Memphis. And so in opening up, rather than hearing me do a whole lot, I wanted Stephanie and Terrance to say hello or what they, if they just stick around and hear, they've heard my spiel before in terms of talking about what we do. If they want to stick around, great. If they want to go and get to other things, that's okay too. So I think the agenda, and I think the agenda starts with Stephanie. And Stephanie and I have worked together for many years now. I guess starting back around 2008, 2009, somewhere in there. So we've been together, 12 years. We've gotten to know each other pretty well. And we've worked with a lot of contractors, a lot of new contractors. We've worked with a lot of good contractors. We've worked with some that were just beginning, and we tried to help bring them along, as Stephanie does in her everyday world. So Stephanie, how about we just start with you, and you take a couple minutes and tell everybody what you want to tell us.
No, thank you. Thank you, Greg, as always. I'm Stephanie Alexander, the director for the Memphis Area Minority Contractors, and I just want to welcome you guys to Habitat. Habitat is one of the organizations, pretty much one of the best organizations that I always refer my new upcoming contractors to. And the reason why is because they are so structured. So it really, once you get into Habitat's line and you begin to become a contractor for them, it pretty much prepares you to be able to go out into the, to the government world of, local government, state government, federal government, and it gives you the tools that you need to be able to compete with other contractors. So I'm here to assist you. We have monthly classes dealing in construction, far as like this month, I think we have, this month we got QuickBooks. We had a QuickBooks class last week to show you how to keep your bookkeeping. Then we have coming up estimating. So if you're unsure on how to estimate your jobs, we have classes that'll teach you how to estimate. Then we have job costs. So once you secure the job, how do you make sure that you stay in line with your budget? We have that one coming up on the 15th. Next month we have insurance and bonding, construction law, project management. So we have a variety of classes that we offer to contractors, so that when you get into these type of programs, you'll know how to certify your payroll. You'll know how to maintain your projects and your job costs. So take advantage of it. I'm going to leave my information in the chat room. So if anybody need any help, we have a mentoring program. A lot of our guys go through this program, so they're very familiar with how it works. So don't get discouraged when you get into it. If you're chosen to be one of Habitat's contractors and you're out on a job site and it doesn't pass inspection, don't get discouraged. That's actually a good thing, because they will show you what you did wrong. Once you get into the real world, not that they're not the real world, but once you get into government, the error rate is so low. If you mess up, they just keep going. They don't come back and say, hey, this is what you've done. Whereas with Habitat, they will kind of walk you through it. They won't per se just hold your hand the whole entire time, but they will come back and say, here's what you've done wrong. Let's fix it. And that just gives you that experience that you're going to need to continue on in your journey. I'm going to, like I said, leave my information in the chat. Feel free to reach out to me anytime. You can email me day or night. And most of you guys that's on here know I will respond to an email at 12 o'clock at night, or I'll respond to a call. I might sound sleepy at 7 and 8 o'clock in the morning, but I will answer the phone. So welcome again, guys. I'm excited. Get in, jump in, learn the business, and let's take it forward. I would love to see you on my city roll saying, hey, we have another contractor that's doing $1.7 million worth of work, started at Habitat, and now they're a commercial contractor. And also we have licensing classes. So if you know anybody who's looking to get their residential licensing, let me know. We have another class coming up in August. We haven't set the date yet for it, but that will be coming soon. Go to our website. I'm going to put that in the chat room. Go to our website, join our newsletter so that you will be in the know of what's going on in the construction world. Again, I ain't gonna take too much time. I'll be here to the end. So if anybody has any questions for me that I can answer for you, but my information will be in the chat. Thank you, Greg. As always, you've been a blessing to my family as well as to this construction industry. Anytime you call, I'm going to answer the call.
Geez, Steph, is that going to cost me $10 for you to plug me like that?
No, it just means you got to keep answering your phone when I call.
I appreciate you, and everything Stephanie said is absolutely spot on. I call Stephanie. We talk at 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night sometimes. I don't usually call her when I get out of bed. I usually start at between 4 and 5 every morning, so I don't call her that early. I'm a late nighter and an early birder. So Stephanie has been there, and Stephanie, in that, really, there's 2 contractors. Now, I don't know if the one started with you initially. We've got 2 contractors that came through our program that are doing multi-million-dollar projects now. And actually, the third one just told me he's got some big airport projects going. So we've got some people that work down on the riverfront. We've got somebody that's building a commercial building that came through our program right in front of our offices right now. And we've got somebody going out to the airport to do work. So I'll tell you that I think, starting with Stephanie, some of them were limited in terms of what they knew about construction.
Absolutely.
She's a good resource, and she cares. And that's one thing that, how anything goes, she cares. When you care, it makes a whole big difference. So thank you, Stephanie. And now we're going to turn to Terrance Hammons. Terrance has recently kind of taken over the Section 3 reporting and work with the city, getting people qualified. I'm going to let Terrance tell you all the things he does. Our previous person you may have met last year, Linda Harville, she retired on us. So Terrance got the reins.
Yes, good morning. As you all can see, I loved my coffee. I got to have my coffee first thing in the morning. And as Greg has mentioned to you and stated to you, my name is Terrance Hammons, and I am with the City of Memphis Housing and Community Development. And as Greg also stated, in the past, a young lady by the name of Linda Harville, whom many of you may be familiar with, was conducting Section 3. And Linda has since retired, and all of her duties now has been passed down to me. So I am the HCD, Housing, Community and Development Coordinator. So I have a twofold job, which is I handle labor standards, Davis-Bacon labor standards, and as well as Section 3. And Section 3, as you all know, is a provision of the Housing and Urban Development Act of 1968. The whole purpose of Section 3 is to ensure that preference for employment, training, and contracting opportunities generated from certain HUD funds are directed to, directed to local low to very low income persons, particularly those who receive federal housing assistance and businesses that are owned and employ such individuals. Linda had started a business registry some time ago, which HUD asked to be done. Now, this registry gives you preference when it comes to obtaining contracting jobs. It gives you preference. Section 3 now is not race or gender, but it is the law. So it must be followed. And HUD is really coming down strong on us right now for slacking up on Section 3. I was just in a meeting last week with HUD, and they are really asking us to push Section 3. So now, if you are not on that business registry, I would like for you to get on this business registry only if you qualify as a Section 3 business. And now, what qualifies as a Section 3 business is 3 criterias: 51% or more owned. If you're 51% or more owned and controlled by low to very low income persons. Second, 75% or more labor hours are performed by low to very low income persons. Or let's see here, 51% of your business is controlled by a current resident of public housing. Then what I would like to do is, if you are interested, then I would like to pass a certification form for you to complete. That form is not a very long, detailed form. And what you would do is complete this form, send it back to me, and then I will have you certified if you qualify, and you will be on this certification list for 3 years. 3 years. And you will have the opportunity to, you will have preference, I'll say, to when contractors, if a prime contractor is about to start a huge job, and they must follow Section 3 criteria, the Section 3 law, then they can pull from this business registry. And so if you are a electrical company and they're looking for a Section 3 business who perform electrical duties, then you can be pulled from that list. Just last week, a contractor, I guess I won't call the name, a contractor called me, and he was needing that list. And I have passed that business registry on to that contractor, and he is pulling from that list some Section 3 businesses. So it behooves you. It's a very good thing. And I am pushing now. I am going to push a little bit stronger, since HUD is pushing us, our agency, to really get Section 3 moving. So I will leave my business, I will leave my information just as Stephanie is leaving hers on the chat here, so you all can contact me, my email address and my phone number, and you can call me at any time, and we'll get this handled.
Good deal. Well, Terrance, thank you. And chat myself that contact these two. You'll be better, because not just that you're working with people that are going to help you, but opportunities that they find out about that you may not find out about. Like Stephanie's the first one I call anytime something's going to happen. If we've got a project, anything that's going on, I say, Stephanie, hey, we're going to have a meeting to talk about the new project. Or Stephanie, we need somebody that has a tractor. You got anybody that's got a tractor? We need somebody that can do dirt work. And Terrance, in terms of Section 3, you know, we at Memphis have to do our Section 3 reporting. As Terrance said, they're on the HUD's on the city city's on us. Everybody's working hard to make sure we do the best we can do to help anybody and everybody that wants to do some of this kind of work. So talk to those two, use those resources. and you'll be better off. Thank you both. Terrance, by the way, you ever been on the radio?
No.
You have a good radio voice.
Uh-oh.
I like that kind of cousins. So you kind of got you could do some preaching on it.
Well, Greg, let me say this before we move forward. Section 3 and certification are totally different. Because we talk about certification when you go through different classes, get different licenses. So I don't want you guys to confuse that, because we're always talking about the list for certification. So certification with the city, the county, and federal government is totally different from Section 3. You must have both.
Good deal.
I just want to make sure they understood that.
And Stephanie, and in your classes, I know you do things like people where jobs are posted and all this. I get daily postings from several planned bid rooms around the city of Memphis. So, you know, different people that a lot of people would never know that you could go to these plan rooms and find out that the city of South Haven, the city of Memphis, the city of Bartlett are going to put new roofs on two of their buildings. I get those every day, and not that I'm doing anything with them, but I look at them. I like to see what's out there. I like to see what the city of Memphis is doing. So information that Stephanie's giving out there, and again, use those two for resources. Now, for the remainder of this meeting, and we've got about 30 minutes left of the meeting, my job is to kind of do two things here. One is to talk about Habitat's new home construction projects. Habitat, our main focus and what Habitat has done throughout the years is build houses. And so a lot of people are here for the aging in place, the repair program. Some of you may be here for the new home construction. I hope you are. The new home construction is what Habitat has focused on all of our years. It's been a crazy year this last year because we're not living the normal Habitat. The normal Habitat world is we're a general contractor building homes for partner families who may not otherwise be able to go out and live that American dream and get that home. The income may not be there, the credit may not be there, lots of factors. And so Habitat steps in. We're a builder, we're the general contractor, we're a mortgage company. We do the financing for these people. We don't charge interest on our loans. So that's a heck of a deal. Anybody that wants to buy a house and not pay interest, I would love that. But that's what we're about. So our new home construction, we are the general contractor. We are hiring plumbers, electricians, heat and air, framers. We're doing it all, brickers. Now, generally speaking, if most people in here are familiar with Habitat, you also know we work with volunteers. Well, this pandemic has kind of messed up our plans with our volunteers. Companies don't send people out anymore, not right now. We're getting closer. We're excited. We think one day soon, in the next few months, maybe we'll have our first volunteers back on a job site. Because that's how we build homes. We build them with volunteers and subcontractors kind of feathered in. All the trade done by licensed people. A lot of the other work is done by our volunteers. So in our new home construction, you could go to our website, and I'm trying to pull up my agenda here. On our website, memphishabitat.com, and Kim's going to put it in the chat box, I'm sure, and going to make it available to anybody later, just for that general information. But you go to our website, you see get involved. Then you'll see bid room. Oh, Kim is showing it now. So there's a get involved tab, and then you go to the bid room, and then you go to new home construction. Pretty simple. You go down through there and you look and you see that Habitat is always open for bid. And when we say open for bid, primarily we're looking to work with people that would be our qualified subcontractor list or our qualified contractor list, depending upon which program. And once you're on that list, then we pull from that list to do the work that we do every day in Memphis. So the new home construction aspect of it is a little different than the aging in place. And so what you see here on the new home construction, and scroll down, Kim, you see ongoing invitation to bid, and then you see the paperwork that's required to become a qualified subcontractor. And then on the bottom of this, on the documents that right there, Kim, and number 6 says bid sheets. Those are the items that specifically we want you to bid on to show us what it would cost you to do a turnkey project based on all the different things that we have. Now we have a new service, a new thing that we haven't added to the site yet, and it's a lot of small things that our volunteers would normally be doing, like hanging blinds and paper towel or toilet paper holders, and just doorknobs, things that no trades volunteers do for us that right now they're not doing, and we don't have enough time to do it with just our limited staff. So that's going to be added on there. So don't, if that's something you want to consider, you'll see that will be added later. But otherwise, you see all these things that are on here now. Feel free to go in there and bid on these. Tell you, if you're a general contractor, and I'm looking right now at Kevin and Terrance because you're on my screen. If you're the general contractor and you say, well, I want to bid your electrical, you can do that. Keep in mind that we're doing what you would have to do. You're going to have to go out and find an electrical contractor to hire to do the work. We have to do the same thing. So it's usually harder for you to try to compete in that arena just because we do a lot of volume. And so, right now, Ellendale Electric does our work. So be hard for somebody and get it cheap and still make money. But that doesn't mean I don't want you to try, because look, we're open for bid anytime, all the time. There's a lot that goes into working with Habitat, particularly when our volunteers are out there. We're very tight schedule. So new home construction people, if you're interested, that's the page. And Kim, I guess you can stay on there because I'm going to transition. Let me make sure I covered everything in new home construction. Oh, I do have a note here. It says, who should apply to be a contractor or a subcontractor? Every one of you should apply. Look on there and see if there's anything that you've got a company that's awesome about, and it's possible that we could, work a situation that works for you and for us. We need to add to our vendor list. We need more plumbers. We need more electricians. We need more heat and air. And everybody on this, if you're doing any work, those are the challenging places right now. There's just not enough people doing what needs to be done. And there's a lot of work. So we're all vying for people. So we'd love to meet some new people. So please look at that new home construction and consider any of those items that you think might, you might be able to participate in. And you can always call, email, anything in regards to before you spend a lot of time doing it. So Kim, I'm moving from the new home construction into our aging in place program. And a lot of people that are here, and Stephanie generally probably is working with people that are more going to focus on our aging in place program. And our aging in place program, for new people on here that I haven't met, our aging in place program began maybe 7 years ago, 8 years ago, something like that. And it primarily, Habitat was looking for an opportunity to work with seniors in the neighborhoods to help them stay in their homes longer. And in order to do that, it requires a lot of things that are not just what you would consider repair. Most people know repair programs put on roofs and hang siding, put in windows, hang new doors. But in aging in place, there's a lot more. There's the things that seniors have to focus on as opposed to the repairs. And that's things like grab bars in the bathroom, new toilet, comfort height toilets, handheld showers, maybe widen doors, maybe replace an old tub that they can't step into with a roll-in shower. So our aging in place program focuses on all the needs of a senior as they age, them in their home longer. It also focuses on critical repair, because the one thing that we always know, a bathroom for a senior, if they've got a hole in the roof and it's raining on them, so what that they have a nice bathroom, they got big problems. So we work from the top down and all around, trying to work with these seniors to best serve them in their needs. And so people that are on here, some of you are already in our program, you could say, yep, pretty much. I might be going out to hang siding, and I might be going out to redo a whole bath shower, and I might be putting on a ramp at a house. I might be putting up handrails on the front steps. I might be pouring new concrete sidewalk to get them to the home safely. I might be replacing floor joists. I might be pulling out carpet. I might be doing all these things that get rid of trip hazards, all these things that help the senior age. And I'm not there yet, but oftentimes, as I get older, I step into the shower. I have a small curb in my shower, but my feet never used to hit that curb. And now suddenly, about once a month, I stub my toe when I step in that dang tub or that shower. So I already know my body's not doing it the way it used to do. So as we get older, we're all going to need this stuff. So aging in place people, we need you. We'd love to have you a part of the program. And you're not specifically bidding on anything in our aging in place program. You're telling us your qualifications. You're telling us that your company has the capacity to do work. And so once you apply and send in your information, we talk, we may check references. We first thing we do is do a search on you online to see who you are, what jobs you might have done, or make sure you hadn't made too many people mad. We all make people mad occasionally, so we can't hold all that against you. But we certainly want to screen you and get you on our approved program. Now, in terms of Ken, you were scrolling down there a lot on the aging in place. That just go on there and follow what Kim's showing you, get the information into us. And to be honest, I think a lot of you on here have. We've recently gotten a bunch of new applications for contractors that want to be on our list. And we certainly look forward to talking with you if we haven't already, and letting you know that we want you on the list. I'm going to give you just a quick rundown. Alan is saying our office internet is not doing well, so he's one of our project managers that works. Kim, if you're at the office, that we're not going to lose you. But aging in place, folks, here's how we operate. Habitat is taking in applications for seniors who need help every day. Habitat goes out to that home. Andrew's on here. If you see Andrew, he's one that goes out to the home. Larry Springfield goes out to the home. They will go in and they will assess a home. They will assess the needs of that senior in their home. And they do it right now only on the exterior, because we have not been allowed to go in and do interior assessments. That's coming back soon. I think probably sooner than later, and probably by May or June, we will be back into homes doing assessments. And that also means for you that work with us, we're going to be in the homes doing interior work again. So we're really pushing for that. A lot of seniors need our help. So guys, our team goes out, does the assessment, takes pictures of everything that they're looking at, comes back, we set up a scope of work. And the scope of work may be any of those items that I mentioned to you. And in that scope of work, we only have X amount of money generally on a project. So we have to determine from that, all of those items that we think we'd like to address, what we can address, and knowing that surprises can happen while you're addressing things in these older homes. So we then set up the scope, we set up a price. And Raymond, I don't see you, or Ramon, and Walter, DeAndre, Mark, Rick. Hey, good morning. Rick's been working with us. And so we set the pricing. We know what it costs to go in and replace certain things. So we set the price, and then we send the work order out to the contractor, and we have a contractor list, and we do a rotation every next job, whoever's next. And it's not alphabetical order, and it's not whoever Alan likes the best. It's the list as they came in and got approved into our program. and we just follow that list. And as soon as we do an assessment and do the scope, we assign a contractor to that project. So Kevin, if it were you, for example, we would then send that scope of work out to you and say, hey, these are the items we want you to go out and do, and here's what we're going to pay you. And so on a very rare occasion, and I say this, very rare, we have a contractor that calls back and says, oh man, I can't do it for that price. Did you take in consideration this? And we usually say, yeah, we did, but sometimes we get surprised. And so if you couldn't do it, then Kevin might say, I can't do it. But then I go right next and Walter's up and I just say, Walter, go. And Walter may go do the project, never have a question, never have a problem. But that doesn't mean, Kevin, that we don't want to work with you anymore. You just at the time either couldn't do the project for the price or you had too much other work going and you couldn't get to the project. We understand that. So we certainly aren't going to hold that against you. I'm happy that you're busy. I want you to be busy. Now, I don't want you every time I call you to go to work, say, no, I can't go to work. I'm too busy, because then what's the point? But we certainly want everybody to do well, and we will use that contractor rotation schedule every time to assign the work. Now, okay, so let's tell you this. Every year, Habitat does about 200, and at max, usually 300 projects. So if you look at that and say, okay, what does that mean for me as a contractor? Well, there's 20 contractors and we do 200 projects. That's 10 projects a year. Our projects average around $13,000, give or take. So, you know, that's in the ballpark of $150,000 worth of work a year. And we kind of set it up where we expect you're going to make some money on each project. So we may not be your bread and butter. We might, but I don't think on those 10 projects, if you make a couple $1,000s a project, you make $20,000, working with Habitat. You may make a little less on one, you may make a little more on another. Projects are different. You know how that's in the real world, that's how it works. I think I'm going to be able to do it for this. And sometimes I lost a case of caulk on my way over. I go buy another one. So I miss out on $18. But that's how the program works. Now, as we get additional work, and we may do 300 projects, obviously on the rotation schedule, you may find that you get more work. And to be honest, sometimes some of the people that we assign to a project, and Tarsha, I'm going to say, I'm going to do that because you popped up on my screen. So I'm going to say that Tarsha's name was picked to work with Miss Johnson. Miss Johnson has had her scope and had everything done, but maybe Miss Johnson is real slow about coming in to sign her paperwork. But maybe she couldn't make it happen in a timely fashion. So as much as Tarsha's waiting to do that job, she doesn't know she's waiting to do that job, by the way, because we don't tell her until Miss Johnson comes in and signs, and then we send it out to you. But we know we've got you slated on that one. And so I might have given the one behind that to Juliana, and her lady or her fella got in there and signed the paperwork sooner than Tarsha's lady did. So I send that job out because this one's ready to go. So the projects are assigned when we do the scope, and then they're sent out when the people follow through and do all of their paperwork. So there's a time delay sometimes in some, and that lends itself to sometimes maybe, Marcus, you might get 3 projects at the same time. And so one of the things we want to talk about with you is capacity. If you did get 3 projects and they're $15,000 projects, do you have that capacity to do them all? Do you have the manpower? Do you have the funds? Because you're going to have to go out and buy product. You're going to have to go out and buy material for that job. Now, Habitat, when it comes to that, we don't front you any and say, hey, here's your money to go buy your insulation for that wall. We expect that you've got that wherewithal to do that. What we do is say to you, get the job done. Any job that's done by Wednesday at 5 o'clock, this week, so, or whatever week it is, we'll get paid the second Friday after that Wednesday. So had you got a job in this week, this Wednesday, and you got it in by 5, we will go out and inspect the work. We will do everything we need to, and then not today, but next Friday, we will mail that check out. And right now we're only mailing checks. We're not having people pick up checks. That's a little different, again, because of COVID. Maybe we'll get back to that at some point. Maybe we'll always just mail checks. I don't know. That's going to be an operational thing that we have to determine. A lot of people used to come pick up their checks every Friday. We may go back to that again. We always get to see you more regular when we do that. And so we like that. We get a chance to talk, but we don't know if that's going to happen going forward. Maybe it's always going to be mailed. We'll figure it out. So as you've done the project, you get the work done, you're going to get paid quickly. This is not a project where, 45, 60, 90 days later, you're going to get paid. And so that's a different arena. And when we work as a contractor on some of those projects, we typically charge more to do those projects that we know we have to wait 90 to 180 days to get paid on, just like you would. That's not how we're operating here. It's a fast turnaround. I mean, I'm sure we could make a mistake and forget and not get an inspection done in time. Something happened, weather related. We still figure out how to get you paid. We do a lot of pictures, and we can do our inspections off of pictures until we can physically go to the house. So that's our aging in place program. And I keep looking down at my phone here when I look down to make sure I'm covering all these agenda items that I'm told I have to handle. Administratively, invoicing, I talked about that. We'll work with you. And Stephanie brought this up. We have a process. We have our work orders. We have our certificate of completions. We have the pictures. We have all these things that are required as part of an invoice package to get paid. It's nothing that's hard. It's just it's just standard paperwork. Wait till you go do your first government, you talk about paperwork. We set you up to know, okay, I just got to follow the basic rules here. If I've checked my 4 boxes, I'm good. Well, when you go to that government, you check your 75 boxes and you're good. But we start that process here. We work with you, getting your invoices into our accounting people. We work with you in terms of how to download photos onto a Drive or in a Google, wherever you want to download photos, and we take those photos and download them in a folder ourselves. So we will work with you on all of that. If you've not been a part of that before, and if you're experienced at that, great. We love to see an invoice that comes in with your company name and invoice number, the specifics of what you did. That's what we're looking for. And if you've not done, work with you on that first invoice and help you figure out how to get it into us. Okay. We're at the point, and we're behind schedule a little bit because at 10:40, I was supposed to say thank you, meeting over. But I can't say thank you, meeting over, because we're not over with yet. We've got 5 minutes of question and answers. And let me preface this by saying, you can ask anything you want here, or you can call us individually, Terrance, Stephanie, and me, Alan, Andrew, Larry, and you can have a conversation and talk more depth. You don't want to put all your business out in front of people, but certainly if you've got some questions that just right now are pressing, shoot, and Terrance, Stephanie, or myself, or Alan, Andrew, or Larry might answer those questions. And I think, Kim, I don't know how you know if they put a hand up in the chat box.
One question in the chat already, and I'll say this a couple of times. After this meeting, when we have the video ready, I'll email everyone who registered and attended today with a link to the video from today's meeting, Greg's contact information, Stephanie's contact information, Terrance's contact information, and then links to those pages that I showed you all earlier. In our chat, Walter had a question, I believe it was during Terrance's section. He asked, what is considered low income, in talking about section 3?
Yes, can you hear me? I was entertaining that question as you were speaking then. I was saying that that's a great question, and it is determined by household size. And let's say there is a scale, and that scale goes from household, if there's a household of one, household of two, it goes all the way up to household of 8 plus. And so now what I can do, I can send out this scale, I can email it out, but let's take, for example, a household size of one, and the annual income is 36,000 or less, then it is considered low to very low income. But now this scale goes from, as I said, from a household of 1, 2, 3, it goes all the way up. Now I can send this. I'll be glad to email it out, so everyone can have a copy of it.
Okay, great. Thank you, Terrance. And so Kim will make that available. And for anybody that wants to come to our website, or you can email Terrance directly, and his information is on there, and he can follow up and send it back to you. Kim, I saw there was another question. Shauna, you asked the question in regards to, do we do direct deposits? We have not. It's not that we haven't had people request that, but our processes, and we have to turn our processes into other people, auditors at our level. And for those that don't know, we run a statewide program here in Memphis with other Habitat affiliates doing repair work for seniors through a state program, and they have auditors that audit us. And so we have the processes that we have that have been approved by them. In the past, we have not been able to change those, so we have not done direct deposit. You could ask me that again. I could run it up and ask the questions and see if that's a possibility. Right now, it's. What else you got? Shane or Sean, either way, can you use QuickBooks to send estimates and invoices? Well, you can do anything you want on QuickBooks, and you can send that to us. Our accounting department uses QuickBooks. Most everything that we use and the paperwork that we use on our invoicing is coming out of a program that we developed. It's not specifically QuickBooks. So, I mean, I'm sure you can take our stuff and import it into QuickBooks and vice versa. So we could be very specific with you, Shauna, if and when we get work going.
And y'all can feel free to unmute and ask your questions, as well as putting them in the chat if you like.
It's the wall portrait. I put my question in this chat, but Greg, I thought you said something about some of the contractors that was in your program. Is this speaking of a mentoring program or anything of that nature?
Well, Walter, that's a good question. And to be honest with you, we did not, and we've never specifically said we're a mentoring program. I think Stephanie would say to you through the years, we absolutely are a mentoring program in that we have people that come to us at different levels. And I will say back in 2008 or 2009, we had a contractor who brand new, and she brought some people in and had no idea what they were doing. And Alan took our heat and air people, and Larry and whoever took our plumbers and met with their heat and air people and their plumbers and said, okay, let's talk about what code requires. Let's show you what we expect. So we absolutely were mentoring that person. That wasn't our intent. And to be honest with you, that we don't have time to do everything that a mentor typically would do. But in the same light, we end up doing a lot of it just because we help you get your invoices right. We want to make sure the work is done right. So yes, we will meet you on site. Yes, we will work with you on the invoices. Yes, we'll talk to you and show you how to download those photos. Now, I think the project manager on here would say, okay, there's a point where we're past that now. You just got to get the work done and get it done because we've got a lot of work to do. but I'll be honest with you. I had somebody, Stephanie, they talked to you. They called me after hours the other 6 o'clock, and I talked to them for an hour, 15 minutes. Now, my wife is steady going, aren't you off work? So yes, I was, but an hour and 15 minutes, they had a lot of questions and said, please just, can we talk? And I said, sure. And so we do that. I know Alan will talk to people, Andrew will talk to people, Larry will talk all the time. They call with a question on a project. Hey, can we talk about this? I'm not sure where to go with this. What should I be doing? So yes, Walter, thank you for asking that. No, we are, and yes, we are. So, that's a.
So let me chime in.
Yes, we are.
So, Mr. Walter, understand, like you said, they're not a mentoring program, but they do take that liberty of helping contractors to grow. So that's not, we don't want to take advantage of it, is what I'm really saying. Don't take advantage of it, because it's rare that you get an organization that will allow you to come in as a contractor and kind of just mold you. See your mistakes, go back over them with you, show you what you did wrong. Typically, it doesn't happen like that. Typically, you sign in as a contractor, you're supposed to know your job, your craft. You're supposed to know that already. And if you get it wrong, we don't sign off on a bill. So now you're waiting, instead of waiting 2 weeks for your check, now you're waiting a month for your check. And you're trying to figure out, okay, what did I do wrong? Why did it not pass inspection? Whereas with Habitat, they will go back and say, here's what we saw that was incorrect. We want you to go ahead and fix it. If you can go ahead and fix it today or tomorrow, we'll go ahead and get your invoice processed. So that's one of the reasons why I love them, because so many organizations that I work with does not take that time to do that. They feel like you, the contractor, you're supposed to know your craft. If you mess up and it doesn't pass, oh, well, you need to figure it out. Whereas, Greg and them are really good at saying, okay, let's talk about it. Let's sit down. Let's talk about it. Let's see what you've done wrong or what you've done right. Because one thing that I didn't hear him mention, I don't know if I had stepped out the room for a second, is that sometimes with these homeowners, because remember, you're waiting on the homeowner to sign off on the paperwork. And a lot of times we might go into a home and repair something, and that homeowner wants the whole room repaired, and that's not part of the scope of work. So there's a lot of issues that we have. So they understand that. They understand that Ms. Jones wants her whole kitchen redone, but that's not what we came to do. We came to repair the south wall and to replace the floor. So they will sit down and they're discussing. If we can do it, then they'll tell you, they'll say, well, you know what? We have some extra dollars. Go ahead and paint the kitchen, so that she'll go ahead and sign for it. So there are some things that come up that gets you prepared for, I hate to say it, for the real world, because once you get into government contractors or even the time, it's okay, you can't deal with Ms. Jones. She says she wants the whole room. You as the contractor going back and forth with her. She's saying, well, I want my whole kitchen painted. You're saying, well, ma'am, I can't paint the whole kitchen. They're only paying me to paint this certain particular thing. Other organizations be like, well, oh, well, if you do it, that's your loss. Whereas with Habitat, they will work with you. They'll work with you and they'll say, okay, well, let us see what we have. If we can go ahead and satisfy the customer, we will. If we can't, we'll talk to her. We'll talk to the client and let them know that, hey, as the contractor, they did what they supposed to have done. We need you to go ahead and sign this paperwork. It's priceless. That's a priceless act right there alone. So Mr. Walter, just in a nutshell, they're not a mentoring organization, but they go out of their way to prepare you so that you can move forward. And when I tell you that my contractors that have been diligent in staying with Habitat, they have made it. C. Foster for one. Carlos, that's when I first got involved. And what I tell you, it was a headache. But now he's building multi-million-dollar business buildings. He just finished Methodist Central down on Union. So, and all of that training came from Habitat, being diligent with Habitat, going in, and I mean, that's the residential. He went from residential to commercial. So, and I can go on and on about the different contractors that have come through this program. And, you know, it started off rough. It was real rough. And that's how me and Greg became best friends, because I didn't understand and the contractor didn't understand. And I was calling, and I was calling every day, all day. And I didn't look at the 8 to 5 hours. Carlos called me at 7. I called Greg at 8. And I'm like, we need answers. We need to know what to do. But it prepared us. It prepared us to move his business forward. And I mean, the success is in the pudding. It's on the wall. I mean, Pfeiffer and Associate, you can look and see these are contractors that came through Habitat. And now there are some of our largest African-American primes in the city. So I know it works. So I can stand behind it because I know it works.
Good deal. Thank you, Stephanie.
So I'm done.
I like the hand clap, Juliana.
Thank you.
Question from
Thank you.
Mark Phipps.
Okay.
Thanks.
Yes. Am I understanding that when we bid on these jobs, do we already have to have our employees working for our company and stuff like that, or can we just bid on the job and just work with different subs? I'm trying to figure that out, because if not, you know, me and my situation, you know, I work with a lot of different subs anyway, doing rehabbing on houses and stuff like that. But I was just trying to see, can I just bring in subs, or and if I do bring in my own employees, do I have to have like workman's comps or something like that set up already for them before they accept the bid that I'm bidding on and stuff like that?
Mark, good question. And to clarify, we're only hiring you as the contractor for the job. Send that project to you, we're hiring your company. Now, who you get to do the work is who you get to do the work. I don't care if they're your employees or if they're 14 different plumbing companies that you're accustomed to calling, whichever one's available comes. That we understand that. So most of the people we deal with do not have employees that are coming out to do the work. It's simply going out and finding who. And now what we do hope is you already have that pool of people at your fingertips that you can call, because we don't want to send the job to you and say, well, I got to go find somebody. It's going to take me a month. We need that job done. And so I think what you're doing now is what we do. We deal with folks that are working with multiple subs.
Okay. All right. So on that note, I teach air conditioning, heating, and construction. All right. And my students, when I teach them, I get them certified through OSHA and NCCER and HBI, Home Builders Institution. So when they graduate from high school, they're already certified to do this work, and they also have hands-on experience, because I do let them work for some of the jobs that I do myself out here in the field. But so I can use some of the students who graduate from high school who's already certified, OSHA certified, and NCC certified and stuff like that, and that wouldn't be a problem.
So what I would tell you is we're looking at you for your insurance information, because we're audited based on you. And so have your downline covered in whatever way you need to cover yourself, because we're looking at you as the contractor. We don't go in and dig into your downliners. We just have your paperwork on file.
Okay.
So however you do that, you know, if you have them working through your company or however, that's totally up to you.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay, so Mark, let me chime in a little bit. Okay, so two folds of it. Okay, the first is, if you use your students, then you know you're going to be responsible for making sure that you have workman's comp to support them, and make sure that they fall within the guidelines of your insurance, because I think they have to be a certain age requirement to be carried on the insurance. So you will be responsible for that. Say that you decide not to use your students and you want to use another company to come out and do the work. Be mindful that these projects are not paying a buku amounts of money. So if you had an electrical job, you wouldn't go out and get A1 Electrical, who's doing billions of dollars worth of work, because their prices are going to be too high and you won't make anything off of it. You still want to be able to make a profit off of the work that you're doing. Because if not, what is the point of even doing it? So you want to look at people. Typically, my contractors look at people that's coming up in the business like them, probably don't have license, not in your specialty areas, but more in your construction area. They don't have construction license, but they know the skill. And then you just bring them up under you. But if you go out and you get a company that has their own construction license or their own mechanical license or whatever the case may be, then you want them to provide you with their insurance policy that shows that they have workman's comp for their workers and that they have liability insurance. So always remember to cover yourself, because your contract is with Habitat. Habitat don't care who you get to do it, but as long as you have the information that they need to report back to their agencies. So that's your insurance, your licensing. You have to have that. Your insurance company is going to audit you. And when your insurance company audit you, they're going to make sure that whoever you use to do the job had those same requirements. So just cover yourself. I know a lot of my contractors in this program use people that typically don't have license, but they might have their liability insurance. Then that way they don't have to carry them on their insurance. And then it just works that way because the costs are low. Remember, anytime you make a deal with someone who has contractor's license, have insurance, have their own manpower, their cost goes up. Cost goes up on it, which is going to make your cost go up, which is going to you're going to outbid this project.
Okay. So again, if I do bid and I do use someone who has like electrical, like, see, I know how to wire house, I know how to wire houses, air conditioning, heating, and roofing and construction. I know I do all that stuff, but I'm not licensed in all of none but air conditioning, heating, and construction. But so when I do get this bid or earn this bid, are y'all gonna put like the check in the contractor's name that I use? It's gonna be in my name, and I'm just using them just for the permit. Okay.
Your name, because our contract is with you.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're talking about your MP&Es, which is your electrical, your plumbing, your mechanical, your HVAC companies. Those people have to have their license. You can't work without having your specialty license. Now, you don't have to have your contractor's license, but you have to have those specialty license, because that's a whole different other process for those people. Because if you go in and you wire this house and this house blow up, we got to be able to hold somebody accountable.
Well, you're gonna find if you can't pull a permit, you don't need to be touching it, because you have to pull the permit for the electrical or the heat and air or whatever. So the county's not going to pull a permit without a license.
But you have a lot of guys that's coming out of school, like Veteran, William R. Moore. They're just beginning. They have their license to be able to pull a permit, but they just don't have a crew. They're one man. They'll work with you. They're team with you. Let you get the job. They do the work. They're still able to pull, small amounts of permits. They can't put really big jobs, but they can pull permits, small enough to get the job done.
Okay.
So those are the people you might want to kind of build a relationship with as you continue to grow your company.
Okay.
And then you'll find that in this business, you're going to begin to talk to one another. So you might start a project and you'll meet somebody in doing the same thing. They start a project and they say, well, hey, I got a plumber. I have a really good plumber. He gives a very good price. You can use him, and you'll begin to share information, and you'll build your team based on that. Now, I do say, as you continue to grow, you do want to get your own people, because as the workload continues to come in, then you don't want to say, well, Mr. John, I need you to come do the plumbing at this house. But he's saying, well, I'm working on 2 other projects. You want someone that can kind of tailor to you. But that's as you grow. So as of right now, if you haven't gotten to that point, that's fine. We use each other all the time.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay, so, and Stephanie, thank you, Mark, for those questions. And so I'm gonna hit 2 quick questions, and then we're gonna close this because I am about 15 minutes behind. Somebody asked, Kevin asked about the subcontractor agreement for the city roof program. Today, we're not discussing the city roof program. We're not. The city roof program is an annual thing. We have to put it in the paper. It's a whole different process. So we won't have another one of those until probably next year if we get another city roof program. And once they say to us, we want you to do another one, we post it and say, we're taking formal bids. It's a whole different process because we have to follow the city process. So I'd be glad to answer any question for you, Kevin, outside of this. Email me, you can call me, whatever. But right now, we're not taking anybody additional into the city roof program. School names again that you mentioned, Stephanie, students coming out of all these different places. Feel free, Tarsha, to email Stephanie and she can share with you. There's a lot of different schools. There's high schools that are doing things. There's colleges. There's all these different technical schools that are teaching people. And so Stephanie can share those with you. And with that, I got to say to everybody, we may not have answered every single question. I hope that we told you who we are, what we do, how we do it, and why we do it is because there's a lot of people out there that are in need. And so that's why Habitat's here. Thank you, Stephanie, Terrance, and thank you to the teams for all being on here and for all the people